morning. Well, let me thank, first of all, Property Europe for this opportunity and all of you to come here early in the morning for this important event. Please forgive me, but I will read because I prepared a specific introduction. Well, I was asked to introduce this subject, which is regarding breaking the deadlock, will restructuring bring opportunities for investors? A very interesting questions regarding my country. Well, of course, I will leave the floor to the other panelists whose expertise is specifically focused on real estate, and I would like to point out at some aspects that characterize our economy and some potential strengths of it, notwithstanding the difficult moment everybody in Europe is experiencing. Well, we can point out 7 different points in my opinion. First of all, Italy is the 3rd economic power in the Eurozone after Germany and France, and according to the World Bank, can still be considered among the first 10 top economies worldwide, even without the possibility of counting on energetic independence, abundance of commodities and natural resources, or low labor costs, as it is the case for the majority of the emerging countries. Italy is also an export-oriented economy with a positive net trade balance. And moreover, we are not overexposed to risk investments with a reduced necessity of deleveraging operation vis-à-vis speculation. The Italian government is presently launching a new set of privatization measures. We can only mention, for instance, the so-called municipalizzate. There are companies presently in the hand of local public authorities, and the potential outcome of such an operation of privatization has been estimated in 200 billion euros on average. The second point is the household wealth. Italian households share a high proportion of saving. At the end of 2010, household net wealth was estimated at 8.64 billion euros. The third point is a solid banking system. Our banking system has developed on principles of low risk and low income as a safeguard for stability. Compared to other countries, our banking system should comply with the new Basel III criteria of 7% of core capital Tier 1 with less pain. The recent long-term refinancing operation launched by the European Central Bank, to which Italy has recurred only for 4% of its assets, provided an injection of liquidity, at least in the short term, for all Eurozone banks. The ratio between loans and deposits in Italy is still too high, but recent intervention by the Bank of Italy are finalized to go with this aspect too. The fourth point is the Made in Italy. The Made in Italy value added. In 2010, Made in Italy of high quality alone produced an income of more than 9 billion euro, of which more than 1.5 billion on exports. This means that Italian brands are highly appreciated abroad with great potential of further expansion. In a globalized world, the fragmentation of our business sector is often considered as a limit for it to grow. But with a more integrated and coordinated approach, it can show a wider flexibility in order to further diversify our productive capacity. Fifth point is regarding our cultural heritage, the world's most significant cultural heritage. With more than 4,300 museums and 47 UNESCO sites, Italy has the greatest cultural heritage of the planet. However, economic returns from it are still vastly unexplored. To make a comparison, the United States, with less than half the UNESCO sites of Italy, can count on an economic return from them 16 times higher. A recent study commissioned by one of our chambers of commerce shows that the potential economic output of the first 8 main Italian cultural attractions is estimated at around 390 billion euros. Only the Colosseo brands alone, according to this study, could reach a commercial value of near 4% of Italy's GDP. Sixth point, logistic potential. Italy's logistic is still largely underdeveloped, with great opportunities for new investments. This can represent an advantage for our economy due to the increasing difficulties of developed economies to find new spaces for growth. In Italy, logistics represents only 7% of GDP, mainly because of the excessive fragmentation of its infrastructure network. For instance, according to Agcom, the Italian Authority of Communication, delays in the broadband development cost between 1 and 1.5% of our GDP. There is a space for a significant increase in such investments in all different fields of logistics. Placed at the crossroad among Europe, Middle East and Africa, Italy and its southern part in particular is a potential market of more than 800 million people, and its logistic development can become as important as oil extraction for the Gulf states in the Middle East. Seventh and last point, a reliable finance. Italy's public-private partnership market is among the most active in Europe. Between 2002 and 2011, more than 13,500 tenders have been released with a total of 66 billion euros invested. Another interesting point for potential foreign investors is that, on average, commercial evaluation of Italian companies is less than those made for American or other European countries, giving a compared advantage in terms of their costs. We also have to take into consideration the role of Borsa Italiana as merged with the London Stock Exchange Group since 2009, giving access to the wide public of international investors based in London, greater liquidity on the European market and high returns on dividends. All this with lower costs for the financial operation taking place at LSA and for post-trade services. These are the 7 points. Obviously, Italy, as the rest of Europe, is currently coping with an unprecedented crisis of such a great dimensions, and is trying to find out a balanced economic formula on fiscal consolidation and growth. Yet, specifically on the real estate sector, we can find signs of recovery, though still feeble, and a common will from our professionals and operators and the Italian government in order to maximize their efforts in this direction. The structural reforms already in place in our country and the others in the pipeline are all intended to this purpose, and the International Monetary Fund, together with the main European and other international organizations, recognize the magnitude of this effort and the need of time for them to permeate our social, economic and political environment in order to display all their potential. But Italy appears to be on the right path, so why not Italy, is the question that our economic system poses to international investors, inviting them to consider all the positive aspects which our country is able to offer them. Thank you for your patience.